grandfather, my mother's father, was a county agricultural extension agent. But don't worry, I know what that is in German. Landwirtschaftsberater. Thank you, and now I'm done. No. War ein Landwirtschaftsberater. And so he would go around his county in South Georgia helping out all the farmers with their crops and their animals. He was really very good at this. Now this was before he met my grandmother and married her, so obviously before my mother was born. So he's going around the county meeting all the farmers, and he's going way out where he hadn't been before to meet a new family. And as he's driving out that old Ford, because this was between the two wars, World War I and World War II, so this was an old Ford. So he's putting along, and he sees up the road a bit something running along really, really fast. Is it a dog? A cat? A raccoon? And he finally catches up. It was a Ford. It took a while. He finally catches up. And it was a chicken. A chicken running along. And so he adjusts the speed on the car so he could see just how fast this chicken was going. And this chicken was running 35 miles an hour. Now, for those of you on metric, this is 55 km/h. This bird was moving. And my granddaddy thinks, I wonder how fast this bird can go. It was like the bird could read his mind. This bird running along looks at him and squints his eyes. Now, it could have been the speed the bird was running at, you know, with all that wind, but it could have been the bird was issuing a challenge as my granddaddy's driving along. Because all of a sudden, this bird puts on a burst of speed. And his feathers ruffle along, and the comb on his head flattens out. And my granddaddy thinks, oh no, not a bird. And so he puts on a burst of speed. It took him a while to catch up with the chicken. It was a Ford. And he finally does. And when he looks down at the speedometer, 45 miles an hour. 70 km/h. And that bird's not even breaking a sweat. I don't know if chickens sweat, but if they did, this bird wouldn't have been, because he was just running along. Feathers ruffling, zoom. Now this time he doesn't look over at my grandfather, and granddaddy's just in that Ford, but the chicken's kind of very much aware of him. You know, with his little head going back and forth the way chickens do. But he knew that my grandfather was there. My grandfather swears that he did. And all of a sudden, my grandfather's the one to put on a burst of speed, as much as he could in that old car. And he pushes it up to 60, 90 km/h. And that bird keeps up with him the whole time. My grandfather wanted to know, how does this bird run so fast? And he thought he would never find out, because the farm he was visiting, remember, Landwirtschaftsberater, the farm he was visiting was right there. So he slows to turn in, and so does the chicken. And as the chicken slows to turn in, that's when he saw it. The chicken had 3 legs. Well, no wonder he could run so fast. A 3-legged chicken. And so they both make the turn. And my grandfather goes to park the car, and the chicken goes over to hang out with the other chickens by the farm. Because that's what chickens do. And my grandfather gets out of the car, and he walks over to the farmer who's over there feeding the chickens. And he says, hi there, I'm Jack Chafin. Call me Jack. I'm your new Landwirtschaftsberater. Except he said County Agricultural Extension Agent, because English. And the man said, well, Jack, it's real nice to meet you. And he introduced himself. And my grandfather said, look, I got to ask you. I noticed your chickens have 3 legs, because by this time he'd seen that all the chickens have 3 legs. What is this? And the farmer said, well, My wife and I have 3 kids, and every one of them loves a drumstick. We call the legs on the chicken after they're cooked drumsticks because they look like drumsticks. All 3 of my kids love the drumstick, and come Sunday dinner when we have chicken, it is always a major battle because they all want the drumstick and there's only 2. And they were fighting and they were arguing, and I said to the wife, "Can't you do something about this?" And she says, "Well, can't you?" And I thought, you know what, I could. So I started breeding 3-legged chickens. And here they are. And my grandfather, being a Landwirtschaftsberater, thought, well, that's a good idea. How do they taste? And the man said, well, Jack, I got to tell you, I don't know. I've never been able to catch one yet. And that's the story of the 3-legged chicken.